Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 409, written by Anonymous, the 90-minute anomaly. I once clocked out of work at 6 p.m., like I always did at the time, and began my hour-long train ride home. After I had found a seat, I went to sleep and woke up just before my station. From the station, it's a short bus journey, 10 to 15 minutes, to reach home. During the entire journey, I didn't use my phone and I didn't wear a watch, so I didn't really notice a time anywhere. When I reached home, my family surprised me with, "You're home early? Everything alright?" I look at the wall clock and it is about to be 6 p.m. I was too shocked to understand what happened. I checked other watches, cell phones, etc., and the time was absolutely right. A few days later, the admin emailed us the timesheets for the months, times clocking in and out, and every single day for me was around the same, 6 p.m. So it certainly wasn't me having left work earlier because of an incorrect clock there. To this day, I haven't figured out how I gained between 60 to 90 minutes that day. Edit. The most common theory in the comments seems to be daylight savings time, and I have considered it before. The problem is that it should work for both time in and time out, and if I remember the time in was the same as always and I didn't leave my home early for work. If I remember right, it also wasn't a Monday, which is when the clock reset effects come through at work, despite the changes going in on Sunday. Case file number 410, written by ashergurl. When $5 appears from nowhere. For broke college students, this is a godsend. This happened to me tonight and I can't stop thinking about it. I thought this would be the best place to post. So I was making some taquitos for my boyfriend and I. I put them in there for a minute and a half. Once I saw it was down to 2 seconds left, I opened the microwave and a freaking $5 bill fell out of it. I picked it up and asked my boyfriend if he put it in there to prank me, and he said no, obviously not. Mind you, he was in the other room the entire time. Also, neither of us had any cash on us today. We usually never do. We still haven't been able to come up with a logical reason why or how that could have happened. Edit. I know some of you said maybe the $5 was on top or behind the microwave. I can guarantee you that wasn't the case. My boyfriend and I are broke college students living in a pretty expensive apartment. If we had $5, it definitely wouldn't just be laying around somewhere. We definitely watch our money closely. Case file number 411. Written by eyebrowswhere. Damn it, I thought there was a Costco near me. I could have sworn there was. 3 years ago, a few days after Christmas, I was hanging out at my parents' house watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, as one does, and my mom turned to me and said, "Hey, my name, we're going to Costco to exchange this pots and pans set that someone gave us. This one's broken." So I was like, "Oh, cool, I've never been to a Costco before." So we all got in the car and drove about 10 minutes away to a town I've been to a million times. This town is literally down the road from my hometown, and I had been delivering pizzas in the area for years, so I knew it like the back of my hand. We turned down a road near my doctor's office, and I remember thinking to myself, I've been here a million times and I've never seen a Costco here. But just figured I hadn't driven down that specific road in a while, and just didn't notice or forgot. So we go in and exchange stuff and go home. Totally normal, nothing out of the ordinary. The next day, we all went to my aunt's house for a Christmas visit, and for whatever reason at dinner, I was talking about how convenient Costco was and that they had such cool stuff and whatever. To this day, when I drive past that road we took to get there, I always think to myself, I gotta remember to get a Costco membership. They had cool stuff there. But being a procrastinator, I never have gotten around to it. Fast forward to 4 hours ago. I'm sitting at dinner with my parents, my brother Ian and his fiancée Jenna. My brother is talking about the apartment he and Jenna are about to move into, approximately 30 miles away, so nowhere near our hometown. This is important later. And he says, and the best part is that there's a Costco down the road so we can all get our groceries in bulk. I say, oh cool, I've been thinking about getting a Costco membership for the same reason. My mom gives me a funny look and says, why bother? You'd have to drive all the way to Ian's apartment and back for groceries. Confused, I said, Why? I would just go to the one in XYZ town. That's like 10 minutes away. Everyone looked at me funny and said, there's no Costco in that town. The closest one to us is the one Ian's talking about. So I remind them all of the one time after Christmas we all went to exchange pots and pans there, and my mom tells me that A, she's never had pots and pans from Costco, B, there is no Costco in the town I was talking about, and C, that she doesn't remember us doing anything of the sort that year. I then think back to my aunt's house where I was talking to everyone about Costco and how I wanted to get a membership and no one had thought anything weird about it. I said, guys, it's literally on that road Dr. Whatever's office is on, down the road from there and to the left. And my dad said, that's an abandoned strip mall back there. There hasn't been a store there since we moved up here in '96. I was so sure of myself that I said, are you guys ready to be more wrong than you've ever been in your entire lives? And pulled out my phone. I googled Costco near me, and sure enough, the closest one is the one I was talking about. Then I googled Costco in XYZ town and got no results. We debated about this back and forth for a while. My mom said, maybe we went to a Sam's Club or a BJ's that day. Those used to be around here, but I know where they both are or were in town, and I'm absolutely certain it wasn't either of those. I have absolutely no idea what that's all about, and I'm 100% certain I didn't dream it. My dreams are never very realistic, and usually nightmares, and are very fleeting due to my medication, so I never really remember them. If anything, I'm just upset now that there is no Costco by my house, and that I can't shop there. Case notes, file number 411. What strikes me as weird here is that when you initially googled this Costco near me, it did show the one you were talking about. But then when you specifically googled the Costco in the town that you knew it was, your town, or the town one town over, then it didn't show up. You know, there was another story, I forgot which one it was. It was a group of people that went to a gas station. They had to go to a small town. And when they got there, they refilled their gas tank. But then they couldn't find the town anywhere when they got back home. It's like it never existed, although the charge on their card still went through. It's almost like the signal from your phone was able to permeate through to an alternate universe, where there was a Costco there near you, but then when you specifically Googled it, that signal no longer transmitted to another parallel universe. It was just your normal universe, and in this one there is no Costco nearby. You know, I'm really just dumbfounded by this. We know about quantum immortality. There's so many stories about that, and it's fascinating. That's a clear, precise reason why someone would cross over. But then there's all these other stories like this one, where people are either just perceiving or entirely crossing over to parallel universes, but there's no clear catalyst as to why. No one's dying, and then you just come back anyway, so you're not dead, no one died. Why is it that sometimes people are able to cross over without any definitive reason as to why? Is it an environmental reason? Something in your house, maybe, that triggers it? I really do wonder. Maybe I'd want to experience it myself. There are nearly infinite parallel universes, so virtually anything you could think of that could happen has happened somewhere in some universe. That girl you wanted to take out on prom, you did in one universe. Or did you want to be a millionaire or a jiu-jitsu master? You've done all this, just not in the universe you're in right now. Isn't that just fascinating to know? It certainly is for me. Case file number 412, written by Rooney13. When you mysteriously understand a language you've never studied. During college, I worked in an office that helped international students with their visas while they studied in the US. On a daily basis, we would help 100 plus students as our international student population was around 4,000. Our student worker team was composed of about 8 people from a mixed background. I am fluent in Spanish and English and know a tiny bit of Korean. To be honest, I was raised where not much other than Spanish and English are spoken, and I feel like this should be emphasized. On this particular day, I was the more seasoned of the student workers along with 2 others, one who spoke Hindi and English, and the other who spoke just English. A student came to ask a question. When he recognized one of our student workers, who spoke Hindi, he beelined to him and asked him his questions, so I turned back to doing my work. They went back and forth a few times. I don't remember exactly what the student asked our student worker, but when my coworker hesitated, He turned to me and I instantly answered the question. It wasn't a yes or no answer. I remember answering with something along the lines of, you shouldn't do X for Y reason, as it was immigration related, and both of them looked at me dumbfounded. The student worker asked how I knew what they were discussing and said that he was turning to me to give me a summary of the student's issue and was going to follow up with the question. I legitimately thought they were talking in English when talking back and forth, but no, they were talking in Hindi the entire time. This was 4 or 5 years ago, and I still think back to it often. I can't explain what happened. Edit. A few people thought I may have just understood a few words that may have been similar in English and Hindi. I ended up messaging my old coworker regarding this, and he said that there's no way I could have understood. He made me Google translate the word for internship, and it's completely different in English than it is in Hindi.